Hi everyone, this is Chris from A Bar Above, and today we're going to take a look at one of the easiest ways to capture all that beautiful flavor that's coming to the farmers markets right now during the spring and summer, so stay tuned. So we've been doing our videos here for about a year or so, and we've examined a lot of different techniques on how to capture those seasonal flavors. A few of them that come to mind are tinctures, infusions, flavored simple syrups, but we haven't covered how to make purees yet, and it's one of the easiest techniques to do. So that's what we're going to do today, is take a look at how do you make a puree for a cocktail program. So let's get into it, shall we? So the first thing that you want to do when you're making your puree is actually taste the fruit and see kind of where it is, if it's too sweet, if it's too sour, if it's perfectly balanced, because you're going to have to adjust these variables, you know, in the blender. So just get a general idea of kind of the sweetness levels and the tartness levels of your fruit. Generally speaking, the earlier the fruit is in its growing season, the tartar it's going to be. So there's a lot more acid to it, the sugars haven't quite developed, and as it moves through that growing season, it becomes more and more sweet. Peaches are a perfect example of that, nectarines, wine grapes, another perfect example of that. So just a kind of a general rule of thumb. So the only thing we're going to do now is break down our fruit. That means take away all the inedible parts to it and chop it up into smaller pieces. So now that we've broken down our fruit, we're going to go ahead and add it to the blender, add some simple syrup to it, and also some acidity, in this case lime juice, to taste and to balance it out to the point that we want it. So you can really have a lot of leeway on the final sweetness and acid levels of a puree, and it's really nice because you eliminate those steps when you're building your cocktails, so it's kind of a nice side benefit of that. So that's all we're going to do now, is going to add our strawberry to the blender, and then fire this guy up with a little bit of simple syrup and the acid. So yeah, I think we're going to add a little bit of both acid and simple syrup to it, just to increase the body of it and the flavors as well. And this is one of the beautiful things about making purees, is that you can really kind of go in small steps to really get the flavor that you want to. So the thing I love about working with purees is the color that it gives to the final cocktail. It gives a really beautiful, vibrant color to it. And you can add a little bit of acid to kind of really preserve that, the color and prevent oxidation. But, you know, it just gives a really, really gorgeous color to the final cocktail. So we're pretty much done. This is very, very liquidy. And it's, like I said, the flavor's there. We're pretty much all set. So I'm just going to go ahead and fine strain this out, remove all the pulp. And what we're left with is a puree that we could work with cocktails. Now, a couple of suggestions that I have for you, for anybody making purees, is add a little bit of alcohol to it. And what this is going to do is really increase the shelf life. So if you're working with purees behind the bar, they typically only last like 2 to 3 days, and you definitely want to taste it. One of the easiest ways to find out if the puree has gone bad or not is usually you see them in squeezy bottles, little tiny like ketchup bottles essentially. And if you shake them up with your finger over the top of it and you let it off and it kind of expels a little bit of gas, it's probably time to break out a new batch of puree. Also, obviously, by tasting, it turns a little bit tart and almost kind of metallic. Then you know that it's time to change out your purees. But essentially, that's pretty much it. Now, like I said, one of the beautiful things that you can do is batch freeze all these. So you can do them in much smaller containers and pull them out as you need it, you know, the day of, or, you know, a couple hours before your shift, and you should be fine to go. Stay tuned. We're going to have some more cocktail videos in the future. But until then, as always, I hope you guys have a great shift, and cheers. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, find us on Google+, or visit us at abarabove.com.